Hello, Graham from Arion Games here, and this video is going to be slightly different. I want to take you downstairs to the games room that I'm currently renovating and just show you how it's coming along. This is a big part of Arion Games' plans for this year, as I will shortly explain. I'm now going to switch to the tablet, so 1 second.
Okay, so I'm now going downstairs. Apologies, my office is a complete and utter mess, I'm afraid. But we'll go downstairs, and equally the garden really needs some work, but that's rural gardens for you. So here we have the games room. So this is the lower floor of the gardener's bothy where my office is, and in years gone by this would have been both the dairy at this end and the washroom. So you can see that there's still an old big stone sink there, and there's even the original wash copper, and we have the fireplace and the old stove. So this room, when I moved in, was a damp, dark, gloomy, rather mouldy room, quite dusty, and it was used for a bit of storage. So what I've been doing is I've been renovating the walls. You can see some bits have still got original lime plaster on, others are bare stone, and I've been renovating this for a few weeks now, 10 minutes here and there. I've put new lighting in, I've taken the old mouldy boards down from the ceiling, and so on. And the idea behind this room, and I'll pan back around, you can see the nice big table I've built which just needs finishing off. The idea of this room is to become a games room. Now it does still need some work. It needs a heater up at that end. I'm replacing, or I'm going to put down a wooden floor to cover up this old concrete one. I'm going to make some shutters for the windows there, and so on. So it still needs some bits and pieces. But what this room is going to be is, firstly, it's going to be a games room for myself. So you can see I've got all of my RPGs there. I've got my books, both the French and Japanese translations and the originals there. I've obviously got a shelf full of Fighting Fantasy game books and so on, and lots of classic RPGs and board games. So it is going to be a, and then here we've got some various miniatures and stuff. So it is going to be a games room. I am going to be able to come in here with friends or even with children and play a board game, play a war game, RPG, whatever. But what I'm also going to do is I'm intending to run a games writing workshop. Now I've got to be very careful not to say a games workshop, because obviously that's probably a trademark term. But what I'm intending to do when it's all finished in here, hopefully towards the end of this year, have a session where we can use a projector that's going to be going up there with a nice big screen at that end. And what we can do, we can actually work on how to write a role-playing game. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people out there who write homebrew stuff, who modify games and so on. But there's also, nowadays, a lot of people publish these games digitally and even in print. The barriers to that are a lot lower than they were. So I thought I would put my 15 years worth of games writing experience to use there. But I would also put to use my 20 years of teaching people. I teach scientists, I teach sheep handling courses and so on. So combine those two skills and teach people how to run a game. And I think you can probably imagine in the winter when we've got a nice big fire roaring in the grate there, got a coffee machine where that old computer currently is, and a nice projector up at this end, and we can work through a whole load of different facets of games writing, and maybe even produce something that goes on to be published. So obviously where we are in the Yorkshire Dales, with Bolton Castle about a mile behind me, behind this wall here, and so on. If I organise accommodation and meals and everything else, I think it could be a really, really, really good weekend. But I have got to get this finished. Hence, I'm doing some every day. You can see here the old Victorian fireplace. So that's pretty much it for today's one. This is still a work in progress. I'm hoping in about 6 weeks' time this will be pretty much done, and I've still got to come up with a full sort of course syllabus for a writing workshop and so on. But I'll be posting more about that in various places, and certainly when this is done I will do another video, because I'm quite proud of how it's coming on so far. It's got a somewhat rustic feel with the unfinished bits, and still we've got the exposed beam there, we've got a couple of exposed stones there and so on, but at the same time I think it's going to be quite a good room to actually have a game in too. So thank you very much for listening, and until next time, good gaming.